It's a second line day. We're in gate 46, and the second line is called the Prima Donna. We are told in the 15-2 that the second line has an advantage because it allows the 15-2 to be seen as an extremist, and therefore it has the opportunity of being left alone. When you bring that into the physical body here, you come up with the Prima Donna. Everybody looks inside of this person and thinks they see somebody who always thinks they're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Of course, other people can feel a bit uncomfortable with that. The Prima Donna is always in the right place at the right time. It doesn't know it. And the moment that somebody says, hey, you're great, you're in the right place at the right time, that gives that second line a lot of power. In the exaltation, we have a difficult and demanding nature that succeeds despite its behavior because of the depth of its talents, the determination to succeed that may offend others. The first two lines, lower trigram, deeply involved with their creative process. Though they lay a foundation for the whole hexagram. To accept what it is to be in any experience is inherently a creative process. You learn from that. You know, out of reflection can come all sorts of advantages and rewards. The Prima Donna can say, I'm in my experience, leave me alone. Don't bother me. But in order for me to be in my experience, I need the very best sweets. I need the very best food. I'd quite like a limo. Everything has to be right. It has to be right. And then I can be in my experience. And then just don't bother me. Just make sure all that stuff is there and go away. This is the Prima Donna. In the detriment, we have unrealistic demands and offensive nature of egocentric mediocrity, the determination to be treated as a success before it's been realized. People who have this line, it's not their fault. They can't be any other way than they are. They're prima donnas, and it's okay. The secret is having some discernment around the people who call them out. Now, if you have the right people calling you out, then that aspect of your nature isn't going to offend anybody. It might still be offensive, but the person who called you out is going to like it. It's like being provoked by the right people, and you have that gate 39 energy. The right people don't mind. They might still find it provocative, but it's okay. So it's the same here. It's the prima donna. They can be really offensive to some people. They're the ones who have managers or agents who say, my God, they're a pain in the ass, but they're also so brilliant that it's okay. This is the right person for that particular pain in the ass. Now, this is the whole thing about understanding that when you live by your own nature, you get those people in your life who will accept you as you are. And they're not going to find you that offensive. These people always think that they're in the right place at the right time, and they have an air about them that other people don't like. They might look at this second line and say, how can you feel like being in the right place and the right time is fine, and we don't get that experience? How is it you get that? The 46-2 doesn't know how. They just, it's just them. Second line. People are looking at them through that window, and they're sort of seeing them there. They see the prima donna. They're a prima donna for other people. They're not a prima donna for themselves. They're just them for themselves, having their own experience. It's the other people who call them out that get the prima donna when they call them. The 46-2 can be difficult for other people because they're just in their experience. But in the end, they accept them. They might just label them as eccentric or say that they're rude or terrible people, but they still recognize the talent that's there. And having that talent then also somehow it excuses the prima donna nature. There's a lot of projection going on around this line. As a general rule, humanity doesn't really feel that lucky. Luck is something that people hope for, and they look for it, and they dream about it, and they buy lottery tickets. But if you see someone who is really in their experience, they get their rewards. They may get rewards even though they don't deserve them, which is really galling to other people. But then who judges what is deserving and what isn't? The 46 too, if they are in their experience, no matter how uncomfortable they are as a person for other people, tough. Yeah, they should be in their experience, even if it's mediocre. After all, not all experiences are going to be fantastic. That's not the point. A correct experience doesn't mean the best experience, it just means the correct experience. That's it. So the grounding comes from the existentialist. This is the 25th gate in the second line. Existentialism is the philosophical belief that we are each responsible for creating purpose or meaning in our own lives. When we commit to our experiment, when we commit to our inner authority, this is what we're doing. You know, we are creating the purpose and meaning for our own lives. We are becoming truly responsible beings. Mars went into gate 39 at 4:12 this morning. Mars is always in the process of growth, of maturing. So here the energy is around provocation and obstruction, moving through the lines from disengagement to the troubleshooter, from the energy to provoke and choosing and the correct provocation through to the natural gift for solving problems. This is how that the hexagram progresses. The moon has been in gate 2 since 7:32 in G center, G center, the direction of the south, this seat of the monopole, where it's when our direction is in alignment with our path, this process becomes an example for the collective of an evolutionary trajectory. And the individuality in the collective, that, you know, the collective's always looking at what the individuality is up to. So although the individual doesn't set out to educate or influence the collective necessarily, you know, the collective's always watching, and the individuality is very influential in that way because they're a mutative force, and it's, yeah, it's really powerful. So they have an ability to empower others in their search for direction. You know, they can even point them towards the correct resources on their path. The moon moves into gate 23 at 16:47. This is the throat gate, called splitting apart, the gate of assimilation. This is the awareness and understanding that leads to the acceptance of diversity. Gate 23 can vocalize the innovative thinking that comes through from gate 43 at the other end of the channel, cutting through standardized concepts, if the timing is right. And if the language used is able to express the inner knowing correctly. This is individuality, so again, potential for mutation. And there can be quite a charge behind the things that are expressed through this gate 23. And finally, the moon moves into gate 8 at 2:09. This is holding together the gate of contribution. Another individual throat gate, pointing down to the G center. This gate carries a need to contribute something unique, something that will eventually make its way into the collective and change everyone's experience, might thereby attract attention and possibly lead to the creation of a new identity based on that contribution. It's individual, so there's that mutative potential again, and it's a projector gate. So it needs an invitation to contribute. You know, that might make its process go a little bit more smoothly. So that's us for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you for a line 3 tomorrow. And until then, go gently. Bye-bye.